Okay, the next thing we're going to be assessing in this video is we've already assessed cranial nerves 1 through 6. So in this video, we're going to assess cranial nerves 7 through 12. But before we start with 7, I'm going to go back and reassess cranial nerve 3, which is the ocular motor nerve. And I'm going to need a pen light for that. And I'm just going to turn the light out and assess pupillary response. Okay, I'll turn the lights out. We need to get it a little bit darker. Okay, so you darken the room, and I'm just going to use this pen light to check her pupillary response. Can you just come forward? Can you look straight ahead? Look straight ahead. Okay, and I did see her pupils constrict. They did respond to light. Okay, we can cut the lights back on now. Next thing I'll assess is I'm going to do the accommodation test, which I'm just going to have her look straight ahead, look straight at the camera. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's the accommodation test. And I also noted that her pupillary size is looks to be about a 3 or 4. Looks like it was 3 prior to the test and maybe 4 after. So that was cranial nerve 3. But now we're going to go and we're going to do cranial nerve 7 through 12. So starting with cranial nerve 7, which is the facial nerve, I'm going to have the patient. Can you raise your eyebrows for me? Okay. Can you raise your eyelids for me like you just did? Do it again. Can you close your eyes real tight? Okay. Can you smile for me? Can you frown? Can you show me your teeth? Okay. And can you puff your cheeks for me? Okay. That is cranial nerve 7 that we just looked at. And basically with cranial nerve 7, we're looking for facial symmetry. And everything she did was symmetric. And next thing we're going to look at is before we go to cranial nerve 8, we need to assess one more thing. I'm just going to have the patient, because I don't want to use my hands, I'm going to have her identify these things here I have. So I'm going to have her to take her finger, and can you just take your finger and put it in this and tell me what you taste? Is it sweet, salty? What is it?
Hey, sweet.
Okay, that's correct. This is sugar. And can you identify this one? What is that? Is this sweet, salty?
It's a little salty.
All right. Can you taste it on each side of your tongue?
Yeah, salty.
Okay, so that was the sweet and salty. Now we're going to move on to cranial nerve 8, which is acoustic. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the patient sit in this chair. Acoustic is hearing, ear. So you want to sit in this chair for me. And I'm going to whisper. I'm going to do the whisper test. And I'm going to have you sit back. And I'm going to whisper something in your left ear. And I want you to tell me what I said.
4, 7, G.
Correct. 6L2.
6, L, 2.
Okay, that's correct. So her hearing is she's good there. So you want to get back up on the bed there. Okay. So that was uh, the acoustic cranial nerve 8. Next thing we're going to assess cranial nerves 9 and 10. Cranial nerves 9 and 10 they control they both control the gag reflex. Cranial nerve 9 is the glossopharyngeal nerve, and cranial nerve 10, of course, is the vagus nerve. Then, like I said, they both control gag reflex. I'm not going to elicit a gag response in her. If you did want to, you could just take a Q-tip, with a cotton tipped applicator, and just have her open her mouth and just kind of touch the back of her throat, and that would elicit a gag reflex. We're not going to do that, but we can also have the patient just kind of open her mouth for me and just say, can you just, I need a tongue blade here, and have her open her mouth and just say ah, and I'm going to watch her uvula. Can you say ah? We probably should use a light. When you do that again, just say ah. Okay, and I did see her uvula move down. So that's cranial nerves 9 and 10. They control gag reflex. And so we can move on to cranial nerves 11 and 12. But before we move on there, I just want to have, can you swallow for me? You just swallow? Okay, so it doesn't appear to be anything wrong with her swallowing. And I didn't see anything really wrong with her voice or the sound of her voice. Next thing we'll do is cranial nerve 11, which is the spinal accessory. And I'm just going to have you, can you sit up a little for me? And I'm just going to I'm going to push down on your shoulders, and I want you to try to push against me. Can you just raise your shoulders like that? Both of them kind of put you. Can you raise your shoulders for me? Yes. Okay. So that's working fine. Can you turn your head? I'm going to hold you, but you try to turn your head to the left. Okay, and you can stay over here. Okay, and then cranial nerve 12, of course, is the hypoglossal, controls the tongue. So I'm going to have you, can you just stick your tongue out and wiggle it around? Kind of like so. Like that. Okay. And go from side to side. Stick your tongue out and go from side to side. Okay. And I need you to have you say, can you say the words light, tight, dynamite?
Light, tight, dynamite.
Okay. All right. So that's cranial nerves 7 through 12.